Hello everyone. Hello again. Welcome to another live stream. I missed out my Tuesday live stream because I had other things to do unfortunately. But welcome back to a new live stream today. We're gonna continue with our mermaid. Just give me a minute. Let me just set up some stuff in the side. Okay. I think we are good to go. All right. I'm gonna reduce my volume. I don't know if you guys can listen to the song. What's going on? Hello, Bojro. I'm guessing that you might be streaming it on Discord, which means that Aho and Hisaka are also watching. Okay. So over the week, the last time that I did the live stream, which was last Friday, I think, I was able to do the roughs for about three of them, which I was able to finish. So this was the Odyssey one, and this was the Mohiniyattam one, which I finished. And today I'm finishing up the third one, which is Satriya, the dance form from Assam. Um, just switch on the other layers. I remember taking a lot of references for this one. Okay, this is going to be a very challenging one because there are so many patterns on this. Something that I did not consider previously. Should have considered this previously. Should have taken something that had a little less pattern in terms of the costume. Checkered lines and all of that. This is going to take a while. It's going to be very challenging. Hmm. I'm going to have to figure out a pattern of doing this. I cannot draw all of them individually. That would just kill me. I'm going to have to figure out a pattern for a lot of things. This is intimidating. Okay, let me just do one thing. Let me make one pattern. Let me draw out one pattern separately and see what I can do with this. So I'm looking at these patterns, the inner patterns. Maybe I should do this with symmetry. Okay, let's do this with symmetry. Actually going to make my life much easier. Let's make vertical symmetry. Where is it? Okay, it's here. I thought we had the option of being able to shift. Can't seem to shift this. Transform symmetry. Okay. Okay. Let me go back inside. I hope you guys saw that. Okay, let's try and make this little pattern over here. I am going to look at how I can improvise with this pattern. Erase that. Okay. See if I can give it some space also, so that maybe I'll be able to fill in some colors. If I can't do that, then I will change the color of the line art altogether. Okay. What I would also like to do is to just squash this out. I don't know what is there on this side. Let me just... No. Squash this out. Okay. Now I'm gonna try and duplicate this across different places and see what they look like and how they look and whether they actually make sense on this at all. Going to have to shrink this, which is going to make it look not so nice, which means that later on, if I want to bring greater refinement, I'm going to have to maybe redraw over this. Oh, that looks quite bad. Okay, shrink this nevertheless, shrink it a little more into this size. Let me warp this out as well. Let me duplicate that. Rotate this off, and since this is on the edge, I'm not really going to work at how to do the warp and everything. That's absolutely fine. Hide the symmetry. Okay. Could have expanded that a little bit also. Horizontally, I could have expanded that a little bit, but considering that the quality itself is not coming that great, I'm not going to invest my time in trying to do that. I would rather just move into the other parts of it and look at how I can manipulate them into or trying to fit. Control deselect that. Okay, they're on the same layer. Select this layer, I cut that, and now that I am streaming, my Photoshop is lagging a bit. Yeah, I'm going to have to redraw all of this. Let me erase this a little bit. Well, at least the pattern seems to be when put together, the patterns seem to be working with each other to a certain level. So I'm happy about that. Just that to make it look good, I might have to rework by doing line art on top of this all over again. That's okay. at least it's not a failed experiment. Yes, let me warp this around as well. Okay, and let's duplicate this also again. Okay, and let's warp this. Oh, it's still having. Cool. Okay, so it seems to be fitting quite well over here. It's supposed to stretch across on this also, and that pattern seems to be different. Okay, so I'm going to create a different pattern again, but all these patterns that I have duplicated over here, I'm just going to go ahead and merge them. I don't need them separately. Even if I don't rework the line art, I'll still not need them separately. They look fine as is right now, so I will keep them in a merged layer. Okay, cool. Taking a new layer again, moving into symmetry, moving into vertical symmetry. That's where it is again. So let me just bring the symmetry here. And let's try and create this this pattern over here. Should have taken a four-way symmetry in this, but I guess that's okay. Or wait, let's take a four-way symmetry. Why not? Let's move this and let's take a dual axis symmetry. Let me bring this symmetry here. Right, and let's look at okay. I'm again going to improvise on this because I don't think I'll be able to put in as many details as there already is on the clothing. So I'm going to improvise and just do this. Something like that. Cool. Okay, let's switch off the symmetry. Let's bring this here, and I'm going to have to make this sustain throughout. Okay. Now one of the mistakes that I did over here is that the first design that I created, that itself I started manipulating across. I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to keep one design as a standby, okay, and start working on its duplicates. And we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Might not be able to arrange all of them, but we will see what we can do. Okay, I'm going to have to shrink this one and shrink it and warp it. Wow, look at that blur. Let's remove it from all these places, so that only that much of it will be seen, at least for the first one. And from the second one, it becomes a little more clear and prominent. Let's shrink that. Let's put it here. And let's warp this. Shrink, warp, erase. Cool. Moving on to the next one. Shrink, warp, and erase. Okay, seems to be working quite well. Let me just shrink this one also a little bit. Let me just warp this just a little bit. Yeah. And erase whatever is excess. Cool. Warp. Erase. And the last one, before I go ahead and do the other one also, the other side as well. I shrink this up. Let me warp this in place. Let me erase this out. Cool. This side is done. It's actually taking form and structure. It's lovely. Okay, I'm going to bring up my oops, the design that I had made as an extra. Okay, this that design is untarnished, which means that I've not yet added any type of transform tool on it. So it's absolutely as it should be. Let me just duplicate that also. And again, we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again on the other side. Okay, and we are looking at this end. Cool. So we are going to be putting it over here. So again, let me just go ahead and make duplicates of this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, we already know that we are going to have to shrink them down and not keep the size as is. So we will go ahead and shrink them down. Let me again just turn this around or warp this. Oops. Okay. Turn this around, scale this down. Okay, put it in place, warp. Just trying to fix the top and the bottom half such that it actually looks like only half of it is inside. That's the main thing that I'm trying to look at, and also trying to give the design some amount of curvature because the overall drapery is also curving across the body, so I'm trying to create that um, sense of curvature. Bring this back over here. Can shrink this down again and warp this thing out. Okay, again, I want to shrink this up. Turn this around, and for this, I'm not really going to do much because it's going to be covered for the most part in any case. So this gives enough of an idea. Bring this in. This is going to be a little tricky because it's curving in both the directions, up as well as down. So this is going to be a little tricky to warp around with. Okay. Just scale that down a little bit. Let me scale that down a little bit. Okay. And lastly, the sixth one over here. Again, just scale this down a little bit. Let me rotate this a little bit. Warp it out. Um, Again, a little tricky, but I think this will do. And now I have that on both sides with a warping understanding across the cloth, so that it's like it is actually flowing with the cloth. Okay. I'm going to have to look at other things as well. There's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to have to create through symmetry. Let's look at making these designs which are below. I'm guessing that they might be the same designs with top, but I'm still going to improvise and make something completely different for it. Before that, this entire thing, um, six, right? So these first six are the ones on the right. I'm going to merge them, and yep, they are all the ones on the on her right, and these are all the ones that are on her left. Cool. So they are all merged. This entire thing is merged. So let me just add this over here as well. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to do is, yes, please. Okay. Going into doing these designs. So again, for this, I'm going to delete this one. Right. I'm going to take a new layer again, switch on my symmetry again, vertical symmetry, bring it to the center. Ooh, the lag is so heavy. What is this? Okay, there is nothing on this. Let me transform. Let me bring this here. And let's make another design for this. I'm mainly looking at this design over here, but I'm not necessarily going to make it as is. I might bring some improvisations because space is of the essence. As you can see, cover that. Okay. Okay. Cool. Definitely not the same dimensions as what is there in the original design, but as I said, we are going to improvise with these and see what works, what doesn't. Let me finish these. Okay, cool. Okay, now let's try and put it into the context of the drapes that we already have right now. So these designs are going to come over here, they're going to come over here, and this is an extra region of drapery that I have created to kind of correspond with the shape of the fish part of the mermaid. So I'm going to put this on these blank areas as well. A lot of, again, duplications and all of that. Let me just store the original design and work with whatever duplicates I'm going to create. And along the length of it, you can see that there are three of them, one after the other. So let me just shrink this down to a position where I can actually have three of them, one after the other. Okay, not so close obviously, but evidently I'm going to have to shrink them quite a bit. Okay, now let me just go ahead and put this one in place first. Okay, so for example, if this is how I want it to be, I'm going to warp it. Okay, put this below as well and warp it in a similar way because I want these designs to be facing in that direction. Swap this out also. Let's keep it as this, like this. Okay. I'm going to make one on this side also, obviously. One more row of that. So let me see how I can do that. So, there are a lot of for those people who have never worked in Twitch, as in kind of created their own account and streamed and stuff like that. A fun fact that I got to know, I think in the first few streams itself, is that there are a lot of stream bots that come and visit your profile and stay for a very long time. And a lot of these stream bots that I'm talking about have very weird names. I'm not sure why they have such weird names, and one of the best ways to actually know whether they are stream bots or not is if you actually go into their profile and you see that they have, like zero messages, zero timeout, zero pans, zero mod comments, but they have like 20,000 subscribers and 15,000 subscribers. That's the only way of actually knowing, according to me, whether they are stream bots or not. And some of these stream bots have really really weird names. They're really funny, really weird names. For example, right now in my stream, there is a stream bot called Toileted. I'm not sure why, but the name is Toileted. It would be very funny if that person actually turns out to not be a stream bot. Okay, let's warp this out as well. Take me high and make me fly. So when I first decided to do Satriya, I very honestly was not anticipating. Stop, Ishan. Bojro sir is also here, just in case you wanted to know. Yes, Bojro sir is here with his friends. Actually, they are not actually here. They are all they're all on a stream call. No, I have not. I have not watched Lucifer. I mean, I think I watched the first two episodes of Lucifer sometime early last year or before that. But no, I'm not. I'm not really watched Lucifer. Heard a lot about it, no doubt, but I've not. I've not watched Lucifer. Were you watching Lucifer before coming here? Do you like it? Bojo, have you watched Lucifer? Let me, before I erase this, let me just kind of duplicate this. कहाँ जा रहा है? You see the lag on my PC. Holy shit. Let me warp this out a little more. And let me put this over here. Cool. I can just erase off these parts. Oh. Okay. So I'm done with all of this. These are the top ones. Okay, let me just put them into a group. Okay, and these are all the bottom ones. And I'm going to merge all of them over here. Cool. All right. Okay. Works. Moving on to this area here. So all the episodes that came out, yeah, decent, not great, but good time kill. What kind of brush is that? It's the same brush that I've been using for all of my live streams. I think this is my 14th live stream, and across all 14 live streams, I've been using the same brush. It is part of this pack called the Evident Concept Art Brush Pack, and it's called Aufgenommener Pinsel. Yep, this is my literally my staple brush for sketching. So I always love to sketch with this. I also paint with this because it's got a lot of nice texture play. If I just, you see, it's got nice texture play. It's got nice opacity. I like working with this brush for sketch and for initial painting. It's very nice. Okay, continuing with this part now. Uh, hmm. That is the kind of sigh that I pull off when I know that I've bitten off more than I can chew. I use hard round easy. I also use hard round a lot actually. Depends on what kind of illustration it is that I'm doing. Damn, sorry. Let me bring this in. Let me shrink it to size. Bring this here. And I'm just going to tilt this a little bit. And again, warp it. And I'm going to warp it like a little towards warp it a little low like that. Give it a little bit of a different shape. Bring this in, tilt this in. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to shrink it down a little bit vertically and then warp it inwards. Right. Just create a little bit of a gap over here. Push it inwards. Super Bro Nova. Who is Super Bro Nova? Step Bro Nova, sorry, not Super Bro Nova, Step Bro Nova. Who is that? Please don't use real names. Why not? I want to know who Step Bro Nova is now. Pratik. Hi, Pratik. The other one. Oh, the other one. Oh. What's up? How are you? It was Patrick, right? Yes, Patrick. How are you? I'm good, Patrick. How are you? Long time no see. Okay, I'm going to shrink this out again, but now I'm going to shrink it horizontally, shrink it overall as well, and try to warp this such that it actually tries to look like it is part of the contour of this cloth. Okay, what I'm also going to do is shrink this out a little bit more because it's moving off into the distance. It should be shrinking by virtue of perspective. It should be shrinking a little bit at least. Cool. I'm going to keep it as a row of 3. What do you stream? Patrick, what do you stream? He streams his gameplay. Well, not my NIOS. Gaming content. Okay. No, I kind of guessed that you would be streaming gaming content. I just want to know what games you usually stream. Are you big on Valorant? Because I know that a lot of people are streaming Valorant these days. So are you also into Valorant? Investing into IRL streaming soon. I see. Valorant, Rainbow Six Siege, and COD. More consistent on Valorant. Yes, a lot of streamers. I'm just like a few days ago, I just came to Twitch just to look at what are the things that most people are streaming, and I think almost like outside of the art regime and all of that, I think almost 60% of the gaming stream that I saw was all Valorant, Valorant, Valorant. It's quite big. I know that Bojro is completely, not completely, but a lot into Valorant. I know Bojro and his friends are a lot into Valorant. I watch his gameplay sometimes. Wait a minute. Let me just decide how many of them I actually wanted over here. I don't have any reference for that. So this is all on me. I'm gonna have one. Let's keep another one, 2. Keep another one, 3. 2, 3. I'm going to keep another one over here. Only over here, which is going to mark the 4th one. 4. Cool. That's 2. I think that's about it. Let's see what all of this together looks like. GTFI RP streams will be able to compete with viewerships of Valorant streams, to be honest. GTA 5, I see. You should see Juggle once he live streams and has electricity. Is Juggle really good at Valorant? If he is good, then maybe you should play with Bojro. I know Bojro is quite good at Valorant. Let me. This is this is tricky. Where is that? Okay, cool, not bad. I think I'll be able to fool people into believing that that's Coving. Yeah, but I feel like okay, Roger is below him, not hinting anything. Just I, he's definitely top 10 players in Mumbai in my opinion. He even was a CS:GO pro if I am not wrong, but a more difficult pool back in those days. Do you you delete your old streams? No, I don't delete my old streams actually. As far as what I know, the streams that I have right now, the ones that I have uploaded right now, has like a uh, it exists on my profile for a period of about 15 days or so. And after 15 days, I think Twitch automatically kind of deletes my older streams. So my streams are still there, but I think whatever that I've done last 2 weeks or so, the ones before that, I don't think are there anymore. Is that the case with you also, or am I doing something wrong with my settings? Because of the music. Oh, okay. Can you hear the music? Oh, you can. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you can actually listen to the music. Because in my previous streams, I don't think people could listen to the could hear the music. So for the longest time, I was under the illusion that people can't hear the music that I'm listening to. So I've been listening to whatever it is that I want. You are streaming all desktop audio now. Oh, what? I did not know that. That is new information to me. I'll stop. Interesting. अब क्या था too late? I know it is too late, but yeah, I really need to do a sound check the next time I do my stream because previously, so the thing is that now I'm actually doing this from my earphones, right? So when I first started doing this from my earphones, people told me that they could not listen to the song, so I started playing my own song. Before that, I was doing it from my laptop speakers, and there were a lot of complaints that a lot of sound is coming from my laptop speakers. So I used to play stream-friendly music, which very honestly is bloody boring. Stream-friendly music is very, very boring. But when people said that they cannot hear the music from my earphones, I thought, yeah, I can actually listen to whatever I want to. Turns out everyone can listen to what it is that I'm listening to. Okay, let me just put this together as well, group them. Cool, I have all of this done. The only thing that is remaining is a small thing over here. I don't mind using this again, actually, and I can just, oops, I can just duplicate this, scale this down to size, and just warp this out. So warp this out, something like that. And I can have another one here, and I'm not going to warp or do anything with that because it's too small to begin with in any case, and it's going to get erased. Most of it is going to get erased, so I don't need to bother warping. I can just this off, this off, and put these two inside this group. Cool. Okay, so I have all of this ready. I'm happy with that. Let's. I'm still not moving into these checkered parts because this is just going to kill me. I need to figure out how to do this. I'll most probably make a block pattern out of this and start duplicating and warping it around. Right? Deleting your videos. Oh, okay. So I should figure it out. Like, damn. Get a checkerboard brush. Checkerboard brush. No, I'll actually have to create this. I can actually create one maybe aspect of this and then turn it into a brush, but that is just going to make it very difficult to manipulate across the entire part. I would rather just duplicate it and warp it, duplicate, warp, like how I did for this entire thing. I would rather just go ahead and duplicate and warp the entire thing out. Right. I want to do this thing first. So again, what I'm going to do is the same thing is take a new layer, switch on my symmetry, vertical symmetry, bring this over here. No, bring this over here. And now let me try and see how I can work with this. So it starts over here. So the design is supposed to start over here and end over here. Okay, so it's making the top part of the design. Right. The first bulge of sorts, the multiple bulge thing. What looks like over here is a mustache. Okay, small thing over here. Then, fortunately, it has extended downwards. Let me try and do this. Okay, cool. Okay, so I have this entire thing in place. Now I can move into the details of this. I've never actually done a design like this before where I'm having to actively use the symmetry tool to create these symmetrical patterns before. So this is something that I'm experiencing for the first time. So I'm quite happy that I have taken up something that has turned out to be this challenging. Okay, That thing is not really symmetrical, but I am going to make it symmetrical. And as is expected, I'm going to improvise with this. Actually, it will be better improvised if I do something else over here. Go now, so I hope you have stay on a good stream. I'll be lurking. Alright, thank you. Thank you for coming though. And thank you for letting me know that you guys can hear the music that I'm playing. This design is so intricate. As I said, I'm going to have to do some um, changes of my own. Simple things like that. Hmm. Okay, I think I can actually fit this in. Okay, cool. Let me switch off the symmetry. Firstly, okay, symmetry off. We bring this here, and now I'm going to have to again place this right and going to have to scale this down such that across the width it is fitting. Might have to increase its height. Yep. Okay. See how it looks. Okay. All right. Last thing is I'm going to have to warp this out again. So let me see what can be done. Right. Already it seems to be fitting the perspective that I want. I just want it to be facing out a little bit like that, and that is much better. Okay, great. Seems to be working. The entire design seems to be coming together. Cool. Okay, let's make this one now, which is over here. Let's make that part. Okay, this is over here. Let me put this into this group. Let's make a new layer again. Let's switch on the symmetry. Last use symmetry. Okay, great. There is something called last use symmetry. Should work on that then. Okay, let's look at that. So basically, this design should be somewhere from here to here, right? So this seems to be an easier design than the last one. Mm, and there seems to be a flower. Should I just end that over there? The last petal. Cool. Seems straightforward and easy enough. Okay. All right. Let's make that little circle in the center, and then that flower has weird ending. Looks like an alien flower of sorts. It looks like an alien pattern altogether. But I'm going to go ahead and use it. Let's shrink that down a little bit. I don't need so much of it. Okay, I'm going to shrink it horizontally such that it ends up looking something like this. Right, so it looks kind of parallel-ish, but I want to also warp this guy. So let me just warp the edges, you know, try to sort out the interior exterior thing. Okay, not bad. Just need to glide a little bit more to just thicken out the line art a little bit. The edges, but yeah, that's not bad. That works. Cool. This in also, and this is the yep. This is all the patterns ways down. Cool. Okay, so now we have been able to actually put in a lot of patterns. I call this a massive success because initially I thought that this is going to be terribly difficult, but it worked out fine. It's not bad. I think a lot of this pattern that is there on the original dress actually looks good because it is alternating. It's of alternating colors, so it's a red, yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow. So does not look very monotonous in the actual dress, but it's not bad. I think the spacing is a little less in mine, but nevertheless, it seems to be having the adequate number of those patterns as is there in the original one. So I don't quite mind it. Now coming to the difficult part, which is these checkered lines. Now I can go down two ways, and considering that this is a mermaid, I might just go down that way, and that is not have these little things inside, and just have that checkered idea across. Because I don't want to have so much of detail in the top that the remaining part of the mermaid actually gets completely uh, the overall composition. So I might not actually put in all of this. Having said that, let me even see how I can possibly get the pattern right. So this is the original line art. I'm going to take a new layer over here because this is completely an experiment. And the first thing is to be able to track the middle line of both these areas, which is not much of a challenge as such. Right, so that's fine, that's good. Okay, I can track the middle line for this as well. Okay, so let's do that first. Let me track the middle line for this one. Okay, cool. And over here, there are one, two, three, four rows, and below also four rows. So there are four rows running across here, four rows running across over here. So that is something that I will need to look into. Four rows running across. So if this is the overall thickness that we're going to start with, let's first start with the middle portion. So that's the middle portion. Okay, let's track the middle portion for this. And the middle portion for this. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take this and I'm gonna warp this out a little bit. It kind of moves downwards because over here it is moving downwards, so kind of moved downwards, but here's a four-part thing that we were talking about, right? And similarly, across over here, I want to create the four-part thing, but before I move into four-part thing, let's divide this up into two. Now let's divide the top portion up into two. And the bottom portion as well. Let's divide that into two. Cool. Okay. Divided all of that, and already with just these vertical divisions, there is so much of detail that is starting to fill into this. I need to do it over here also, so there are going to be a lot of lines cutting through this area. So yeah, I do not think that I'm going to be filling in the smaller icons within these slots. I'm just going to be dividing them as how they are supposed to be divided. Okay, so let's divide this horizontally now. The main thing about dividing this horizontally is that I want to keep the same distance. Majorly, that is what I am trying to look at. Something of this sort. So we have this entire checkered understanding now, right? Similarly over here, perspective starts playing a very, very major role when you're trying to do something like this. You don't want to screw around with the perspective. You want the perspective to remain proper, even though you're drawing so many, uh, such a large, concentration of lines. You want the perspective across the lines to still remain the same. Still remain the same. So you don't want to go. You don't want to let it go up and down across. Right. So moving into these areas. Now you can see over here the perspective is actually moving downwards because the leg is raised up, right? Her right leg is raised upwards. So the contour of the cloth is moving downwards. Over here, however, the leg is not raised upwards because there is no leg. The fish part of it comes from below it. So we can still consider it to not actually move downwards, but still be having a simple perspective that is, a flat-ish perspective rather than having a very, like like a perspective that's moving down. So I'm going to go ahead with a flattish perspective for this as well. have something like this. It's fine. And now for the trickier aspect, that is trying to create squares across four of them, four of these. Now I'm pretty sure squares will not get created over here. Over here I'm still going to get rectangles, but that's I think that's okay. I think that is something that I will be able to work with. More peeps joined. Who are you talking about? Who else has joined my live stream? Who dares enter? Sorry, I'm getting carried away. Pratik Mehta. Hello. Hi, Pratik. Hi, Aditi. Wait, are we talking about the first year Aditi or are we talking about the third year Aditi? I'm not sure. Hi. Hi, Aditi. There's no way that I'm able to maintain those squares that are there below, so I might as well say goodbye to the idea of actually trying to make them into squares. That is just not happening. I'm going to change the contours a little bit. Start making these lines more wavy-ish. Okay, works. Over here, they seem to be cutting across, so the gap is becoming less near the end, but I guess that is expected because the cloth is starting to overlap across each other because of perspective. So I don't mind it. I don't mind the gap becoming less over there. Kind of adds to the entire feeling that I'm trying to create. Right. I'm going to have to do the same thing over here as well. So I'm just going to, so we have one, two, three, four over here, right? One, two, three, four, and one, two, three, four. Okay, cool. I'm just going to add a border to this. Let me just add a border to this, right? And again, for this one, I'm going to start from the middle. Doesn't make sense to start from here. Doesn't make sense to start from here. But what I am going to do is that I'm just going to cut across all of them because I feel like the angle of the cloth should also be changing as I move through this entire thing, right? So I want to change the angle of the cloth also, because of which I'm creating these lines at regular intervals to basically map out the change in the angle. This has proved to be more than challenging. Should make one between, but that's kind of going to look like an extra, but that's okay. Point. Okay, that is a lot of it filled up. It is going to make more sense when I start filling up the color into it, right? The color is actually going to make a lot of difference in how we perceive it now and how it is eventually going to be perceived. Let me do something about the bracelet. Last part of it, of course, wait, there is the sleeve over here. Okay, so I'm just going to cover up the sleeve over here. Right, and there is a large chunk of embroidery on the sleeve as well, and there is these patterns that are flowing down across in the center, in the middle. So that is also something that I'm going to have to feed in into the design. So yeah, whew, this is a lot. Let me just put in the brace area as well. These actually look, so this ornamentation over here on the wrist, I am not sure what they are called in terms of the dance that they are doing, right? But they look exactly like uh, European wrist braces that men used to wear while going into war, you know. So this is very interesting. Speaking of war, one thing that I wanted to talk during this live stream is this show that I am watching on Netflix right now. Let me know if you guys have actually watched this. There is this show on Netflix called Myths and Monsters. Is there anyone right now who is there in my stream who might have watched or heard about this thing called Myths and Monsters? Anyone? No, I don't think anyone has might have watched it. Love and Monster? No, no, not Love and Monster. It's called Myths and Monsters. It's called Myths and Monsters, not Love and Monster. Myth and Monsters. Myths and monsters. Nope. Seems interesting. You should, you should. Each and every one who is there in the live stream right now, anyone who is interested in understanding world building, anyone who's interested in understanding how stories come to be, how myths come to be. It's a 7-part documentary. I just got done with part four. I just got done with part four. I have three more parts to go, and it is so good, so brilliant. Uh, if you guys, I know Ishan is over here. If anyone else is there from the first year, you guys should definitely go ahead and watch at least the first episode of Myths and Monsters, because the first episode is completely dedicated to the hero's journey. It's completely dedicated to Joseph Campbell, and it is dedicated to understanding the hero's journey, using so many different myths from all around the world. So, if you want a very, very dynamic and entertaining crash course on what the hero's journey is, just go ahead and watch the first episode of Myths and Monsters. It is done so brilliantly. So the episode that I was watching today, which is the fourth episode, I believe, is about war and how war shapes the understanding of myths and monsters in our mythology and so on and so forth. Again, so beautifully done, so well illustrated in the way that it is actually being spoken of. And there are some beautiful paintings by some great medieval artists as well as contemporary artists, digital artists, and so on. Some beautiful works that are also shown in Myths and Monsters. So, on an overall scale, I think it is brilliant for anyone to just have a look at Myths and Monsters, especially if you are an animation student or if you are a screenwriting student or anything of that sort. Can you upload the presentation class? Are you talking about the hero's journey? The two classes of hero's journey that I took with you guys? Is that what you're talking about? Character class, the review. Oh, uh, okay, sure. I think the review might just be with Bojro sir. Other than the one that we had this Tuesday, I think the previous review uh, recording is with Bojo sir. So, Bojo sir, if you're here, if you could put up the recording. Okay. Of all the designs that I have done till now, I don't think any of the designs have taken me so long to be able to create a line art of. Not even the Kathakali one, because the Kathakali one was just lines, basically speaking. They were linear, long lines. So I just needed to create that. I want to see my part again. That's why. Okay. Podro, if you could please. Yeah, but I don't think the Kathakali one took me even half this much time. That's some detail. Thank you so much. That took me a lot of time. Should have gone with Jatin now. No. Okay, cool. This switching on my actual art layer, rough layer. This is what the rough layer looks like, and switching on some more references in terms of the uh, shark that I had taken. This was the shark. This was the shark. Okay, let me bring this guy on top so I can see more of him. Uh, this guy also. Okay. Yeah, I think this is the one. This is the um, reference that I needed, along with these ones as well. Okay. Oh, I get to draw straight lines again. Feels so good. I'm going to add that extra curve over here just to create some intrigue, and also because I think in the reference I saw that in one of the references this shark also has a little bit of curve over here, so I don't mind adding that curve. That's quite interesting. So you should do a reverse mermaid. Should have got okay, upper half fish, lower half human. I think a lot of people have done reverse mermaids, especially with the shark design. I think there are so many shark designs out there which have the head of the shark, but the body of a human, and it's all extremely bulked up. So I think um in the front part of the torso, it's almost completely shark, uh, but with human chest muscles and things like that. So it's a weird blend. Do it with like sardine. Oh no, I think that would be a very hideous design to do it with sardine. If I think if I if I'm imagining sardine to be what it is, then yeah, that would actually be quite the hideous design. I would not want to do that. There is a reason why they do it with the shark, is because the shark is uh, a very it's actually a very easy fish to amalgamate with a reverse mermaid kind of an understanding. It's a very easy fish to amalgamate actually, because it's got by virtue of its anatomy, it's got a very thick neck. So that thick neck can easily be brought into play with a a bodybuilder kind of a thing. What is going to be very interesting and very difficult to make is a uh, reverse Mershark kind of a design with a skinny guy or with a skinny boy or a skinny girl. That would be very difficult. Even a Mershark with a Mershark design of a girl would be very difficult to make, because anything that does not have a thick neck it's going to be very difficult to combine the shark feature with that kind of a character. Though they do taste good, cookie cutter shark. So the rest of the fish are not really going to put that much of detail. However, since we have decided to actually go with this kind of a shark, I am going to have to put that across its back. This kind of a texture, this kind of a pattern I'm going to have to put across its back. So this is overall a very high detail piece. Okay. Let me just round this up a little bit because what it is starting to create is the idea that this shark fin, the tail of it that I'm actually drawing, does not have a mass, that it is paper thin. So what I'm going to do is I am going to create another line over here just to suggest that it has a little bit of a mass, a little bit of a rounded mass. If I remove that, this is the kind of image that it creates to kind of make the illusion or create the illusion that it has a rounded mass. How have you seen Kali in a fairy dress? That is possible than anything else. Yes, I have seen it. I have seen that image. I will also tell you that it is a very disturbing image. And even though it is possible, you don't want to create something that is disturbing. You do not want anything that is going to come in your dreams and distort your dreams into, uh, well, a nightmare, because that is a very, very disturbing image. For all the people who don't know, you should go ahead and search for that image. Just put it up on Google and you will find exactly what Ishan is talking about. You are also not going to thank me for it. Difficult but not impossible. Good designs are also difficult but not impossible. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Now I remember when I was actually creating the rough of this design, main things that I was trying to keep in mind is that I don't want to create a well-rounded fish, a well-rounded mermaid area for this particular mermaid. What I'm aiming for is more flat areas or flat bellies, because of which you will see that this ruff over here, you can see that it's actually not going in a proper circular format. It's not having that waviness that the other ones have. This is a little flat bellied over here. So I'm actually trying to create that flat bellied design doing Jatin dance. Pagal. Okay, so let me just draw out this area as well. Okay, and so this is where the belly of it ends, and from here we are actually starting with the texture of the back again. The reason why this mermaid or the fish that we are actually taking inspiration from is so interesting is because the belly of it is very smooth, right? Whereas the top of it has a lot of texture. It has a very bumpy top, as you can see over here. It's got a very bumpy top, but the belly of it is very smooth. So that is something that we are trying to incorporate. What is making? Thank you. PK 2002. Who is PK 2002? Fish person. Hello, PK 2002. Welcome to my live stream. Prerna. Hello, Prerna. I am making mermaids again. I have created mermaids throughout the month of May. Now I have grown to hate mermaids. I'm just kidding. Your biggest fan of what? Oh, biggest fan. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and extend it a little more. Maybe up to this much. And now figure out how to draw that. Uh, these lines cutting across. Going to have to figure that out. You know, mainly the main thing that is going to be difficult is understanding how I should actually create the flow of this. So for example, I'm using these lines for the fins, these lines for the tail fins, to try and direct the flow of lines and see how they go. And just try to create my own flow of lines that would cut across. So something like this, right? Flow of lines that are cutting across like this. Now there are vertical lines and there are horizontal lines as well, which, now that I think about it, is quite complementary to the vertical and horizontal lines that are there on the costume. So it was not a bad choice to go ahead with this fish. However, it was a bad choice in terms of the amount of work that it encapsulates. Again, the main thing that I should be looking at is trying to maintain the idea of squares. So equal distances. Wow, I should not have done this. Sure, the mermaids love you though, sir. Thank you so much. They better love me. I worked my ass off trying to represent Indian classical mermaids. So yes, they better love me. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm actually creating them at different distances to be able to understand how their angle is changing, Something that I did over here is something I'm doing across the back again. Now that I know the angle, I'm just going to go ahead and try to fill in the empty spaces and also make these little dots on them as well and see how that goes. Okay, they seem to be moving up and down like this. So I'm going to have to do the same thing. Going to have to make them go move up and down. Something of this sort. I'm moving that around. Not sure. Okay. They would love you more with Jatin dance. No, only the Jatin dance mermaid would love me if I do the Jatin dance mermaid. The other mermaids would be frowning on me for doing the Jatin dance mermaid. So at the beginning of this stream, I was talking about the Twitch bots that come and settle in some of the streams, right? There is another Twitch bot that actually comes very, very often to my stream. Okay, I guess he's assigned to my stream for some reason. His name is Feet. So there was a Twitch bot that I was talking about. His name was Toileted previously, and there is another Twitch bot. His name is Feet. I love Twitch bot names. They are amazing. I do not know who came up with these names, but I love these names. Should have used broken lines from the very beginning rather than having it like this. I don't want it to look like, so the thing with this is that as I said, I'm trying to create like, this is an organic thing that I'm doing over here. It's supposed to be the part of the fish, right? So it's organic. And when it is organic, one of the things that you should definitely try is to not make things look perfect, like how you would on, something like this. This is not organic. This is a sari. This is textile. So having things perfect over there actually does make a lot of sense. But having things completely perfect on something that is organic like this is not the best idea, you know. So broken lines, little dots and things like that here and there is nice. Melly Group of Companies is looking for an illustrator. So anyone who is interested in going in for an illustration job, please go to LinkedIn and contact Melly Group of Companies. I am advertising for LinkedIn. I think every single live stream that I've had over the last couple of weeks, LinkedIn pops up and I end up saying, blah, 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 wants something like this. So if you are of that sort, go ahead and apply over here. I think the last live stream on Friday, I think LinkedIn popped up a double negative uh, it requires compositor, so I went ahead and said anyone who is a compositor over here, please go ahead and apply a double negative. So yes, my stream is also agency of sorts. Okay. So I think it goes without saying that as soon as I'm done with this line art, I'm not going to be doing anything more on this today. I am going to be closing this and finishing the stream with the ending of this line art, which should not technically be that far away. I don't think I should take a lot of time finishing this. Of course, the head will still be remaining, and you know what? I don't mind if the head is still remaining. I will go ahead and solve that out whenever I'm going to do the um, coloring for this, the colors for this. I was actually supposed to do the Bollywood one today, but as you can see, that never really came about. I still have these left. And today is the 28th, so I technically have 29, 29, 30th, and 31st. 3 more days to technically be able to finish my Mermaid. I will not be surprised if my Mermaid actually stretches into the next month, but still trying. My aim is still to be able to finish all of my Mermaid illustrations, which is basically, so this is the eighth one that I'm doing. I will be doing two more. I want to make a series of 10. So I want to make this along with two more and finish it by the 31st so that it stays true to the entire idea of Mermaid, but I'm not sure if that is actually going to happen. We'll try my best though. And we'll also move into possibly another series next month. I have sort of an idea of what it is that I want to do for the series in next month as well. There is a sketch that I had started quite some time back last year on my wife's iPad, and that was a very intriguing sketch. Something that I never came around to finishing because it has a lot of details, an insane amount of details. So I might just think about making that sketch, taking inspiration from that sketch, and making a kind of like a series on that. I'm very big on creating a series of paintings now. So I would like to create a series of paintings on that and see how that goes, you know. So yeah, let's see how things pan out for that. Okay, this is an interesting texture that is flowing through. Okay, what I would also like to do is these lines that are there that is spanning the entire length of this fish. They are, you know, uh, they are moving in one stretch. Okay, so just like what I did for the horizontal lines, I would like to break the vertical lines as well and not have it like so perfect. Break them out a little bit like this and just feed in the dots. Just feed in the dots like this. Wait, I'm just going on drawing them. Okay, not bad. Again, the plan did not entirely, it didn't really go as per plan. So the plan was that considering that the top portion of the design is having so much of detail, I would like the bottom portion to not have detail. Turns out the bottom portion is having as much detail as the top. So the entire design is actually visually, it's not bad. It's going in the right direction, exactly what I would actually want it to look like. But overall, this is a very crowded design. Hopefully, when I actually move into doing the colors for this, it is not going to end up looking as crowded as what it is right now. So let's see. Hope for the best. I might just let's look at the face. Let's not just abandon it just yet as is. Let's look at the face. I'll just go back to this thing. I want to cover up these areas. I want to do the flower also, and I will leave the face. The face I will move into doing the expressions of the face later. But for now, I just want to finish these, uh, you know, undone parts. I haven't put in the detail on this area also, the pattern on this area also. But you know what? I might just skip the pattern on this area because this piece of work really requires some more, unused spaces, some negative spaces. It really requires some negative spaces. So I'm just going to not do that either. Okay, let me just fill this area in also. Okay, make the neck. There is a pretty big earring of sorts, and the earring, if you actually look at the earring, it looks like the tail fin of fishes. How appropriate. Okay, okay. This entire head part, I don't know if this is also called a matha peti. Maybe not. Maybe in the Assamese culture, this would be called something else. But this also seems to be made out of blocks, blocks of gold. So most of the patterns that I have used actually in this entire dance form, the costume of this dance form, other than these patterns which are actually very floral, very delicate, and very curved like, the it also has a lot of blocky shapes. For example, the checkered pattern over there, which is actually very dominant in the overall design, it's also made out of blocky shapes. There are a lot of blocky shapes being used in the design of this dance form as well, in the costumes of this dance form as well. Very interesting. Okay, very cool. Again, I'm very largely looking at trying to uh, be a little inventive also and not just follow everything to the T, right? And the parts of the flower behind. So over here, as you can see, the flower has started to overlap the area, this area of the head. So for all the dance forms till now, I've actually been drawing the flowers something like this. It's a little bit of a cheat, but it works really well. So I don't mind using it. And a little hint of a nose. So with this, the line art, excepting for the face, of course, but the line art for the Satriya design is done. That took a lot of time. This line art should not have taken. How long have I been streaming? I don't know how long have I been streaming. I started at 6. Now it is 8:13, and when I had started streaming, I was done doing basically up to this much. Just the line art for the borders of the entire dress I had done. I had just finished doing, and I had not started with the patterns yet. So just starting with the patterns and then moving into the fish area of the mermaid also has taken up more than 2 hours. That is a lot of time gone by just doing line art. Hopefully, the colors that I'm going to be using for this, and I have not decided the colors yet, but the colors that I'm going to be using for this is going to complement the line art that I have done till now. Right. I am going to call it a day with this piece at least, and I'm going to actually start reworking on this piece from uh, tomorrow. So everyone who is around, thank you so much for sticking around. Everyone who has been in the live stream, who have watched the live stream, interacted, thank you so much for being here again. The plan is, so I missed one live stream in this week at the beginning of this week. The plan is to continue live streaming, and I'm going to have my next live stream on Tuesday, which is the first. I hopefully will be done with my mermaid by the first, and will have uploaded all of my mermaid designs on Instagram uh, by the first. So on the first, probably I will either start with a new series, or I'm just going to do something random just to kind of chill so that later on I can start off with a new series. I'm very excited about the new series, so I'm going to most probably unveil the new series on uh, Tuesday. I might work on it, I might not work on it. That is something that we can see on Tuesday, but I'll definitely unveil my new series on Tuesday, which is going to be the 1st of June. Right, so I hope to see you all there again on the 1st of June. Thank you all for tuning in for today, and I will see you all next time. Take care and bye bye.